Today we're going to talk about the conspiracy mindset, because if you don't know about, conspiracy theorists or have ever been into it, it's really hard to explain or at least put across the concept of what it's like to be a conspiracy theorist. Because the best analogy I can use to explain it is you are a fly caught in a web, and the further you go into the webbing, so to say, the more you get tangled up, the more you have to believe is true, because all these threads of conspiracy theories are interconnected. And once you start someone on the path of, bringing them out of conspiracy theories, then they have to start cutting other webs as well, the other strings, and then eventually they manage to free themselves. Because that's exactly what happened to me. And it was through someone discussing it with on YouTube that I sort of realised, hang on, he's right, I can't believe this. And then through basically almost like a domino effect as well, I said, hang on, because I don't believe this, now I can't believe this, and that means that this is not true, and that means that that is not true. So it's a very, very hard and long process to go through, because you have to do a lot of soul searching. And we're just going to go through, bits of a comment of from what someone I received today, and I'll post a full one down below. But it just goes to show you how interconnected and how much sometimes you have to believe things, and ultimately you have to believe things that there are no evidence for. So, where are we? Yeah. You talk of science and facts. Well, what about connections? Well, what about connections? As he goes on to say, well, what about SAVILE and the royals? That's basically guilt by association. And even in our, judicial system, guilt by association is not enough to convict someone. If someone, turns out to be a mass murderer in your family, that doesn't automatically mean your entire family are mass murderers. It's the worst type of thinking, because, oh, they're associated with someone bad, so they must be bad as well, so should they, because they're associated with them, and they're associated with them. So you see how very quickly this strand starts to be built, and how quickly you start to demonize people with no real reason to demonize them, except they happen to be good friends with this other person that just happens to be friends with this other person. So that's one of the things that I'd like to try and get through to conspiracy theories. Just because somebody was involved in the Skull and Bones Club, or went to was part of the Bullingdon Club in Eton, doesn't mean that they are up to anything notorious or anything bad. In fact, it doesn't mean the original person you think might be bad might up to be no good. So hopefully that might get some people thinking.